your name, sir?
Everett Kenneth Smart.
So, Mr. Smart, my name's Judge Taney. I will go ahead and be hearing your cases this evening. All we're doing is we're setting release conditions, so we're not going into the facts of the case or anything like that. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, however, not necessarily at your own expense. What you're being seen for, what you're being seen for today, it looks like a refile as a misdemeanor from a felony case, and these charges involve disorderly conduct, criminal damage, interfering with judicial proceedings, and all of them are alleged to be domestic violence offenses. It looks like there's also a charge of harassment. I'm going to go ahead and enter not guilties for you, and I'm going to impose conditions of release. I'm going to hold you tonight on a $1,500 bond. This will be in all the cases. If you are able to post bond, you will be supervised by pretrial services. Hold on one second. If you're able to post bond, you are not to possess or consume any alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs. You are to commit no acts of domestic violence. You are to possess no firearm. You shall not have any contact of any kind with the alleged victim in this case. Sir, that includes all forms of contact. So no telephonic, no in person, no social media, no contact through another party. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
You are also not to go to the alleged victim's residence, place of employment, or place of schooling. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes.
And sir, since you're being held in custody for now, I will appoint the city public defender, so they should be in contact with you in the near future. Do you understand?
My attorney came and saw me tonight and said the charges had been dropped.
So, sir, what happened in this case is that the felony charges have been waived down to a different court. So now they're proceeding as misdemeanors. So it's going to be in a different court setup and you'll be getting a different lawyer.
Okay.
Okay. So your next court date is going to be, if you are in custody, it's going to be
In or out?
in or out of custody. You are going to be seen on August 28th, 2024 at 1:30 in the afternoon. And you will get paperwork with all of this information. All right, sir, you're excused.
Yeah, I thought we would have been 23. Okay. Just put C page 1. Okay. Oh, right, felony reduction. Okay. So you need to put the bond on one charge and put or the rest.
One moment, sir. I'll be right with you.
Arraignment. And just put the same court date there. Just Okay. You need to, on this one, you just put see page 1, put see page 1. Sign it in general. What dates?
Oh,
All right, sir, can I get your name, please?
Wait, no,
Hey, sir, my name is Judge Taney. I'm covering your initial appearance this evening. We're not going to go into the facts of your case. All that we're doing right now is we're talking about your next court date and any release conditions. Do you understand?
yes, ma'am.
All right, so you have some important rights. One of them is you have the right to remain silent. That means anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney. I'm going to go ahead and appoint the public defender's office to represent you in this matter. There is a representative from their office seated next to you. Feel free to consult with them at any point if you have any questions. So, sir, it looks like right now you have been charged with first-degree burglary and theft under $2,000. I'm going to enter not guilties for you as to both charges. County Attorney, do you want to be heard on conditions of release?
Yes, Your Honor. Neil Poston for the state. Your Honor, this individual has an extensive history of gun crime to include stealing guns whilst already a prohibited possessor, as well as stealing suppressors and silencers. Prior felony convictions also include ag assault, weapons, prohibited possessor, burglary, fraud, endangerment, ag assault, introduction of drugs into jail, NCA 4, FTA 6, in custody on 3 other charges. And at this point, Your Honor, the state believes this person is an extreme flight risk and an extreme danger to the community. $25,000 bond.
Okay, thank you, sir. Defense, do you have anything you want to bring up?
Yes, Your Honor. He's a lifelong resident of Tucson and he has ties to the community. He's currently employed. Pretrial Services was able to verify that he has housing and transportation support with his partner. He's already being held on bonds in the other matters. And I would also note that this matter predates those matters. So this isn't something that happened after these other matters. It's alleged to have happened before. So for all those reasons, I'd ask the court to set the bond at $5,000.
PhD.
All right, sir, I'm going to go ahead and hold you on a $10,000 bond that will be cash or secured. If you are able to post that bond, you will be released to pretrial services. If you are released or you are to possess no firearms or weapons, you are not to possess or consume alcohol or illegal drugs. You shall have no contact with any of the alleged victims in this matter. Do not go to any of the incident locations. As I mentioned before, the public defender's office is being appointed to represent you. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be August 30th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That date may change. So if you are released from custody, be sure that you stay in contact with your attorney. Do you have any questions, sir?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. You're excused.
Real quick, short.
Good evening, sir. My name's Judge Paney. I'll be hearing your initial appearance this evening. Can I get your name?
Michael Ward Humphreys.
All right, sir. What we're going to do tonight, we're not going to talk about the facts of your case. We're just going to go through release conditions, and I'm going to give you your next court date, okay? You have an attorney. I'll also let you know what you have been charged with. You are currently facing charges of organized retail theft and theft between $3,000 and $4,000. There's a public defender seated there next to you to assist you with this hearing. I'm going to go ahead and appoint the public defender's office to represent you going forward. Mr. Is it Potson or Poston?
Poston,
Poston.
P-O-S-T-O-N, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Do you have anything you want to add to your recommendations for release?
Your Honor, I'd like to emphasize to the court that this individual has been alleged to be on an absolutely epic pattern of stealing and shoplifting. Almost $3,600 between May of last year and April of this year. This individual is 4 and 5 NCAA FTA and has a history of failing to appear and no verifiable residence. He is a flight risk and he's not stopping in terms of stealing. 25,000.
Does the public defender, and I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Mr. Kelly?
Ms. Colley, do you have any recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor. He has no prior felony convictions. These are nonviolent shoplifting allegations. He has no money, so any amount of bond is going to be a lot for him to post. I'd ask that you set the bond at $3,000.
All right, sir, I'm going to hold you on a $5,000 bond. If you post bond, you will be supervised by pretrial services. I will note that you've also currently got a couple holds. It looks like on cases out of Tucson City Court and out of Justice Court. As to this case, if you are able to post bond and get released from custody, you are to have no contact with the alleged victims. You are not to return to the incident location. And if I haven't mentioned it already, you will be supervised by pretrial services and need to abide by any conditions they may put in place. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Your preliminary hearing is going to be set for August 30th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That date may change, so make sure you stay in contact with your attorney. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, nothing further. You're excused. One moment, sir.
No worries, Your Honor.
All right, sir, my name's Judge Taney. This is your initial hearing this evening. We're not going to talk about the facts of your case. We're just going to go over release conditions and your next court date. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
There is a public defender seated there next to you. If you have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and appoint the attorney Miriam Ferguson to represent you going forward. So we'll make sure that you have her contact information. Sir,
I believe I already have it, Your Honor. Sorry to interrupt. I already have her information.
that's good. So it looks like you are being charged with aggravated harassment. That is a domestic violence offense.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Poston, I have seen your recommendation. Do you have anything to add to that?
Your Honor, I simply need to emphasize to the court that we're looking at allegations of 113 calls, as well as an extensive history of DV on the part of the defendant, and he admitted post Miranda to 50 calls, $25,000. This man is not following court orders.
Ms. Polly, do you have anything to add to conditions?
Yes, Your Honor. He has no prior felony convictions. He's lived in Tucson for 11 years and has ties to the community. He's currently employed. I'd ask that the court set the bond at $8,000.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and set bond in the amount of $20,000 that will be cash or secured. Sir, if you are able to post that bond, you will be monitored by pretrial services. You will have to abide by any conditions they put in place. In addition, sir, you are to have no contact with the alleged victim. I cannot stress enough, no contact means no contact. That means no telephone calls, no texting, no social media, nothing in person, nothing through a third party. Do you understand that, sir?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
You're also not to go to the victim's residence or place of employment. If the victim is going to school, you're also not to go to where she is going to school. You will be having your preliminary hearing on August 30th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That date may change. So if you are released, sir, make sure you stay in contact with pretrial services and with your attorney so that you can make that new court date. If you fail to appear for any court dates, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can be excused.
Thank
Your Honor, I missed the bond amount. What was it?
$20,000.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jail. Now, payments.
Okay.
Oh, I see right over there, ma'am. Sure. All right.
Just one moment, ma'am.
Okay.
Good evening, ma'am. My name's Judge Taney. I'm presiding over your hearing this evening. It looks like you have been charged with 1 count of public nuisance. So what I'm going to do tonight, we're not going to talk about the facts of your case. We're just going to talk about release conditions in your next court date. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so I am going to, if I release you from custody, will you promise to appear in court?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to release you on your promise to appear. Your next court date will be in Justice Court, and that will be on September 19th at 8:30 in the morning. That's going to be your arraignment, and that's going to be in front of Judge Wilson.
Okay, if I remember correctly, Judge Wilson is in California.
I'm sure there may be a Judge Wilson in California, but we also have one at Justice Court here downtown.
I had the problem with that judge like 4 or 5 months ago because I called the number they gave me to call, and then evidently the phone number was in California and it was Judge Wilson. Okay, you know what? I'll deal with that in September, right?
Yeah, so you'll get some paperwork. Your next court date is going to be September 19th at 8:30. You also have some additional conditions of release. You are not to have any contact with the alleged victims in this case. Don't return to where this happened or the incident location. Don't consume any alcohol or illegal drugs while this case is pending. All right? So your next
Yes, Your Honor.
your next court date is September 19th, 8:30. You're excused.
Thank you.
See right there, ma'am.
Just one moment, ma'am. I'm getting your file. Good evening, ma'am. My name's Judge Taney. I'll be hearing your case tonight. We're not going to be talking about the facts of any of your cases. We're just going to be talking about your conditions of release and setting your next court dates. Can I go ahead and get your name, please?
Sydney Irwinfeld,
What's your middle name?
Alexis.
So it looks like you are here on charges involving theft, possession of drug paraphernalia, criminal trespass, and it looks like you have a number of cases currently pending in city court. And it also looks like you have some outstanding warrants for failure to appear. So ma'am, what I'm going to do in your cases, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. You are not to possess or consume any alcoholic beverages or possess any illegal drugs. You are not to have any contact with any of the alleged victims and not go to any of the incident locations. Do you understand?
Yes.
Since you are in custody, I'm going to appoint the city public defender to represent you. Just one moment. So the city public defender's office will represent you. You're going to get some paperwork from this hearing that will include their phone number, and they should be out to see you. Your next court date, if you are in custody, will be a video review on August 30th, 2024 at 1:45 in the afternoon. If you are able to bond out of custody, then your hearing will be September 19th, 2024 at 3 p.m. And if you post or your next hearings, it looks like they will be pre-trial hearings.
I'm not getting released.
There's a bond that's been set, so it's a $500 bond. If you post that bond, then you will be released. That's all for tonight. You're excused, ma'am.
Where's Sue?
Good evening, ma'am. Just give me 1 second.
I think that's everything the bond. And now that they're getting issues.
All right, ma'am. My name's Judge Taney. I'll be handling your case. Here to talk about the facts of what happened. We're just going to talk about your next court date. We're going to talk about release conditions. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so it looks like you've been charged with disorderly conduct and assault, all of which are alleged to be domestic violence offenses. What I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to enter not guilties on your behalf. If I release you from custody, will you promise to make your court dates?
Oh, yes.
All right. All right, so your next court date is going to be September 19th, 2024 at 9 in the morning. And that's going to be in front of Judge Verena over at Tucson City Court. You're going to get some paperwork that has information on where the court is and how to get in touch with them.
Okay.
I'm going to release you on your promise to appear. Don't commit any other acts of domestic violence. Do not with the victims in this case. The information that I have is that the victims are moving. You are not to have any contact with their residents, wherever that may be. Do you understand?
Yes, and the residence is my home.
Right, and it sounds like they're leaving. So wherever they move to, you can't have contact with their residents.
Okay. Could you tell me if they're leaving immediately? Or are they going to take 30 days or?
Give me 1 second, ma'am. Let me see if we have that information. So ma'am, the only information we have from the victims in this case is that they've indicated that they're not remaining at the residence where everything happened. So it sounds like they're moving. They may already be out, but that's something you're going to want to verify.
Yes, how could I do that without contact with them?
My recommendation, if you have any concerns, would be to contact law enforcement.
Mhm.
And you can always ask them to do a check welfare or something like that to make sure. Or if you have a third party, then you can ask them to also check for you.
Okay.
Amaya Medina.
All right, ma'am. So once again, your court date is going to be on September 19th, 2024 at 9 a.m. And that's all for tonight. You're excused.
Thank you.
Sometimes there's just 4 or 2.
Bill.
Good evening, sir. My name's Judge Taney. I'll be handling your hearing this evening. We're not going to talk about the facts of your case, but we are going to be talking about release conditions and your next court date. Can I get your name, sir? All right, sir. So you are currently facing charges involving criminal damage, disorderly conduct, a couple of counts, and they're all alleged to be domestic violence offenses. These charges are currently pending before Tucson City Court. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set your next court date. It's going to be August 28th, 2024 at 1:30 in the afternoon. That's going to be at Tucson City Court in front of Judge Million, who's with the Domestic Violence Court. If I release you, will you make your court dates?
Yes, I promise.
All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to release you on your promise to appear. You are not to possess or consume any alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs. You are not to commit any acts of domestic violence. You are not to possess any firearms, ammunition, or weapons. You are not to have contact of any kind with the alleged victims in this case. You are not to have any contact with the victim's residence. You're also it looks like she lives in an apartment complex. You are not to have any contact with that entire apartment complex. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, you're going to be getting some paperwork that includes your court date. And again, that's going to be August 28th at 1:30. You're excused.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ortega's.
Just one moment, ma'am. I'm pulling your files. All right, good evening, ma'am. My name's Judge Taney. I'll be hearing your cases this evening. Can I get your name, please?
Amelia Ortegas.
Is your middle name Elizabeth?
Yes.
All right, it looks like you have a number of cases out of Tucson City Court. The charges involve assault.
Today.
Looks like they're all charged from today.
Start the charge from today.
So charges that stem from incidents today, it looks like those involve disorderly conduct, domestic violence, criminal damage, and possession of drug paraphernalia. All right, ma'am, what I'm going to do on your new case is I'm going to hold you on a bond of $2,500. I'm going to appoint the city public defender's office. If you are able to post bond, you are not to possess or consume any alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs. You are not to commit any acts of domestic violence. You are to possess no firearms or weapons. If you are released, you are not to have any contact with the in or out of custody. You're not to have any contact with the victim or the victim's residence. You're not to return to the incident location. I'm going to appoint the city public defender to represent you. You're also going to complete a behavioral health assessment. And if there's any kind of treatment recommendations they make, you're going to abide by those recommendations. Do you understand?
Yes.
You're also going to do a substance abuse assessment, and that's going to be the same thing. If they recommend treatment, you're going to comply with that. Understand?
Yes, and Your Honor, I already plan to go to treatment. My boyfriend's father is planning to send us to California, a treatment center in California at the end of this month. And we're just in the process of getting our paperwork together to go there.
Now, ma'am, while these charges are pending, you cannot leave the state of Arizona. My recommendation is that you get in contact with the city public defender to talk about getting these assessments done, but you cannot leave Arizona as long as these cases are pending. If you leave and don't make your court dates, there's going to be warrants that issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
So ma'am, it also looks like you have a number of other cases where you didn't make your court date. So it looks like some of those charges in these other cases, they're also out of city court, involve criminal trespass, theft, possession of drug paraphernalia. And it looks like that's it. So what you're going to do is when you contact your public defender, you're going to want to talk to him about getting all these charges handled. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, that's all for tonight. You're excused.
When's my next court date?
Your next court date, sorry, I didn't mention that, is going to be August 28th, 2024. That's going to be 1:30 in the afternoon. That's going to be with the domestic violence court. You're welcome. Ma'am, can I get your name, please?
Megan Ortiz.
All right, ma'am, my name's Judge Taney. I'm handling your hearing this evening. We're not going to talk about the facts of your case. We're just going to talk about release conditions and your next court date. So your next court date is going to be September 19th, 2024 at 2:00 in the afternoon. That's going to be in front of Judge Cranshaw. This is on the case where you've been charged with theft and it looks like also drug paraphernalia. What I'm going to do is I'm going to appoint the city public defender.
Maybe.
If you get out of custody, you are not to have any contact with the alleged victim in this case. You're not to return to the incident location. You're not to possess or consume any alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs. All right, ma'am, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna release you on this case, but there is an adult probation hold. All right, so you're gonna remain in custody until that hold is handled. If you are released from custody, the city public defenders may withdraw from your case. Even if that happens, you still have to make your court date on September 19th at 2 in the afternoon. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, that's all. You can be excused.
Thank you.
All right, sir, my name's Judge Taney. I'll be handling your matters this evening. Can I go ahead and get your full name?
Maximus Perez Rivera.
All right, sir, so it looks like you are facing charges from today involving criminal trespass, disorderly conduct, and shoplifting. And some of these cases you also have additional cases that are also pending in Tucson City Court. What I'm going to do, sir, is I'm going to appoint the city public defender to represent you in these matters. Your next court date is going to be a video review on August 30th, 2024 at 1:45 in the afternoon. I'm going to hold you on a bond of $1,500 that'll be secured. If you are released, you are not to possess or consume any alcoholic beverages. You are not to possess any firearms or other weapons. In all of your cases, you are to have no contact with any of the alleged victims. You are not to have any contact with any of their residences. You're also not to go to any of the incident locations. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so as I mentioned before, if you're in custody, your next court date is going to be August 30th, 2024 at 1:45. If you are released from custody, your next court date is going to be September 4th, 2024 at 9 in the morning, and you're going to get paperwork with all these dates.
Thank you.
All right, sir, you're excused.
I'll sit on my.
All right, sir, my name's Judge Taney. I'll be handling your case this evening. Can I get your full name, please?
Mark Allen Dunning.
Sir, I'm going to appoint the public defenders to represent you. It looks like you're facing charges currently of possession of a narcotic drug, possession of a dangerous drug, and possession of, actually it looks like 2 counts of possession of a narcotic drug. All right, sir. It looks like you may be able to participate in what's known as Smart Court. If you are interested in doing that, it involves treatment for substance abuse or mental health. This program might allow you to participate in diversion and avoid having felony charges filed, or you may be eligible for a reduction of felony charges if you choose to participate. Would you be interested in participating in this program?
Yes.
Counsel, are you willing to waive time for the preliminary hearing?
Yes.
All right, sir, what I'm going to do is I'm going to release you to the supervision of pretrial services. You need to abide by any conditions they put in place. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. If I haven't mentioned it already, the public defender is going to be appointed to represent you. You are going to have a smart court hearing on August 27th at 9 o'clock in the morning. You have to make that hearing. You're also going to, and that's going to be at Pima County Superior Court. You're also going to have a preliminary hearing set for October 4th, 2024 at 1:30. Stay in contact with your attorney because that date may change, but the most important one is that smart court hearing, and that's August 27th. Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
All right, sir, you're excused.
No.
Oh,
Go ahead and prove it.
Thank you.
Go ahead and prove. He also has a misdemeanor.
oh, sorry, sir. It looks like you also have a misdemeanor file. 1 second. Give me 1 moment, sir.
And you're in the sheriff of possession. So we need to set a justice court date. Okay. September 19th. arraignment.
All right, sir. So it looks like you also have a pending misdemeanor in justice court. And that involves charges of possession of drug paraphernalia and failure to appear. I'm going to go ahead and all right, sir. So what I'm going to do, so in the justice court case, you are going to have a court date in front of Judge Wilson on September 19th, 2024 at 8:30. That's going to be your arraignment. That's separate from the smart court hearing, okay? And the public defender, they represent you on the felony charge. They don't represent you on this one, okay? So you need to make that separate court date on the 19th. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance today. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. And once again, that court date is September 30. You're excused, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Garcia,
That's it.
Garcia,
It's GRACA.
yeah. Cordero, right?
So
Just 1 moment, sir. All right, sir, my name is Judge Payne. I'll be handling your hearing this evening. Can I get your full name?
Cordero, gracias.
All right, it looks like you are pending new felony charges involving burglary in the 3rd degree. It's a class 4 felony. Counsel, I have read your pretrial services recommendation. Do you have anything to add?
The state has no reason to believe this person is ever going to show voluntarily, hence the $20,000 recommendation.
Ms. Polly, do you have any recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor, he's a lifelong resident of Tucson and he has ties to the community. He does have a prior felony conviction, but it's from 2012. I'd ask the court to set the bond at $5,000.
All right, sir, I'm going to impose a $5,000 bond in this case secured. If you are released, you will be monitored by pretrial services. You're not to possess or consume alcohol or illegal drugs. You are to have no contact with the alleged victims. You are not to return to the incident location. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you on this matter. Your preliminary hearing is going to be set for August 30th, 2024 at 1:30 in the afternoon. If you are released from custody, you would need to. All right, sir. So if you are released from custody, you need to make sure you stay in touch with your attorney because that August 30th date might change. And if I haven't mentioned it, if you post bond and are released, you will also be monitored by pretrial services. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sorry, was that a yes?
Yes.
All right, and you have an additional case out of, it looks like, Marana, involving charges of failure to appear and also shoplifting. The case is out of Marana City Court. And it looks like you have 3 failure to appears on this particular case. I'm going to hold you on this case on a $500 bond. And then I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you on that case. And that person is going to be Janet Altschuler. And your paperwork should have information on how to get a hold of her. And that, again, that's going to be for the Marana City Court case. Your next court date in that matter is going to be tomorrow, 8/21 at, it looks like noon. And once again, sir, you are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You are not to go to the alleged incident location, which looks like it was a family.
No, we don't know.
Yeah, you're not to go to the alleged incident location. If there are any victims, you're not having a contact with the alleged victims. And once again, your court date on that case is going to be tomorrow at noon. Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
All right, that's all, sir. You can be excused.
This says.
She's the only attorney.
Yeah.
This is just straight.
All right, sir, my name's Judge Taney. I'll be handling your case this evening. Can I get your full name, please?
Josué Duarte Sotelo.
All right, sir, it looks like you are eligible for SMART. So you have been charged with possession of a dangerous drug and possession of drug paraphernalia. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Do either counsel wish to be heard on conditions of release?
No, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. He's a lifelong resident of Tucson with ties to the community. He has housing available with his mother. These charges are personal use, drug offense. I'd ask the court to consider releasing him to pretrial services.
Sure.
All right, sir, I'm going to hold you on a $1,500 bond. If you post that bond, you will be supervised by pretrial services and need to abide by any conditions they put in place. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You are going to have a preliminary hearing on August 30th at 1:30 in the afternoon. You're also going to have a SMART court hearing on August 27th at 9 o'clock. Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
All right, sir, you're excused.
Will,
Good evening, sir. My name's Judge Taney. I'll be handling your case this evening. Can I get your full name, please?
Jeremy Whitlow.
All right, sir. It looks like you have been charged with burglary in the first degree, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument, domestic violence, aggravated assault, domestic violence, and criminal damage, domestic violence. These offenses, it looks like they occurred on or about May 27th of 2024. I'm going to appoint the public defenders to represent you in this matter. All right, I'm going to set an arraignment date for you on August 27th, 2024 at 1:30 in the afternoon. That's going to be at Superior Court. Does either counsel wish to be heard further on release conditions?
State submits on the written record.
Your Honor, he's a 2 on the FTA and the NCA scale. He hasn't been previously arrested in this matter. It looks like the warrant issued a little over a month ago, so it is plausible that he may be unaware of it at this point, or he may have been. He's lived in Tucson for 9 years and has ties to the community. I'd ask the court to set the bond at $20,000.
Judge, the state would be remiss if it didn't emphasize the sheer dangerousness of some of these allegations, hence the $75,000 recommendation.
Mr. Poston, did you have anything else you wanted to add to that? Or was that it?
Your Honor, the state has, between the written record and my previous statement, the state believes that the level of risk that this person presents is absolutely critical. The low FTA, NCA FTA scale doesn't reflect the absolute, the fact that there was, one moment, the fact that this was a push into the person's former residence, the former significant other's residence, and then there was the strangulation. Your Honor, these sorts of things are as close to homicide as we can get and still have a living victim. $75,000.
All right, I am going to set bond in the amount of $50,000. Sir, you are not to possess any firearms or other weapons. You are to commit no acts of domestic violence. You are not to possess or consume any illegal drugs. If you post bond, you will be supervised by pretrial services and you will need to comply with any of their conditions. You are not to have any contact whatsoever with the victim in this case. You are not to go have any contact with their residents either, not to return to the incident location. If you are released, sir, you're also to obtain a behavioral health assessment and comply with any treatment that might be recommended. And once again, your arraignment is going to be set for August 27th at 1:30 in the afternoon in Superior Court. That's all, sir. You may be excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I think that might be it, folks. All right. Thank you, counsel. Thank you, everyone.
Good evening, Judge. A pleasure to meet you.